Hello, and welcome to the Retro Game Gauntlet Reviewcast, where we play video games for a week, and then we complain about them afterwards. I'm Turbografx, and I'm here with Septopus.
Yellow.
We did Turbografx again.
My favorite.
Yeah, well, I think, you know what we could have done, potentially? We could have just made this a Turbografx Gauntlet, and we'd be done in a year. Between the two.
If it was Turbografx, that's 90 games, so it would take us... Well, yeah, you're probably right. So, maybe 40-something weeks, 40 to 50 weeks, we could do it.
Power through. And we could officially say that between the two of us, we played basically every Turbografx game. I can't say that the Gauntlet would be pretty uninteresting when we get down to, after we're halfway through, and we got to keep rolling over and over because we keep getting games that we've already played.
Well, I mean, at that point, I think we would just pick.
Ah, man, and then you got to pick the stinkers. Oh, but then whoever gets first pick gets the good ones, and then we're going to save all the shitty ones for last. That would be awful.
Well, it doesn't matter because we're prisoners of our current format.
Well, until we look back 10 years down the road, and we're very, very wealthy YouTubers. We'll be very wealthy, and we will have played all the Turbografx games just by time passing. Anyway, this week I played World Class Baseball. It's exactly as it sounds. It's a baseball game of world-class stature. Not a lot to say about this game overall. It's a baseball game. So it's got a little array of different teams that are sort of, I guess, made up. It's a very international team. It's got the London Lords. It's got the French Fries. So
are they actually called the French Fries?
It is in fact the French Fries.
All right. Well, I love the game now.
And all the teams, they got their own little stats. I assume that because, they have their, RBI and shit like that. And I think that they also had errors. I don't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure this only applies to the computer. I don't know how it would really affect you as a player since you're manually controlling everything. There's also an option where you can edit these teams to change their stats. I don't know if you could change it player by player. I think you did notice in the short time that you watched me stream the game that for each of the nationalities, they do seem to have comical names.
Oh, yeah, they had the great ones like Fats, or... No, not Fats, it was Chubb.
Yeah, and the Italian team, they were all named like Pizza Pastaroni and shit like that. Anyway, so you play the game. Assuming that you play as the home team, you'll be up to bat first. You get minimal option what to do. I was actually surprised you can move fully three-dimensionally. So you can move left or right to move closer and further from the plate. But you can also move slightly further away and closer to the catcher-pitcher sort of axis.
I mean, that makes sense enough. That's the whole point of the batting square. That's the size of... space you get to move around in.
But I don't know what it affected as far as the different pitches, because really, it seemed like your ability to pitch. Now, this is a game I did not actually go through the manual for. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. I freeballed this one, played it on the fly. As far as I could tell, you could only control when you're pitching, control the ball's movement left to right. So I don't know what moving up or moving back really would have done. I probably just don't know. Maybe that's why I couldn't get a score hardly at all in this game. So there's not really anything to say about batting other than go watch the footage and you'll see how much I suck. I was absolutely awful at this game. Needless to say, I did not win. I played, I think, 4 or 5 games and I didn't win. Didn't even get close.
About how long does a game last? Do you go through all 9 innings?
It's about 30 minutes. It's definitely sped up more than a real game of baseball, but half an hour or so, depending on how much you sit and think about stuff. There's not really that much to think about, so you'll power through it in a 2-hour session. So it's probably closer to 45 minutes. I got 2 games in, as in math. 2 hours, each game about 45 minutes. So if you sat down and you just had an hour, you could crank through a game. Moving on to playing the pitching side, when you're defending, you got a small range of motion left and right when you're standing on the pitcher's mound to change where the starting position of your ball will be. And after you pitch it, you can move the ball left or right. It's fairly fluid. So there's other baseball games that I know where you kind of decide the pitch before you throw it. That might be more realistic, but that's not what we're here for. This is world-class baseball. So you can kind of, when the ball is already going straight, just have it swerve almost last minute. Naturally, the longer you wait, the less swerve you can have to it. What I found frustrating is maybe it's just that I suck, but the computer seemed to always know if I was throwing a ball or not. During the last game I played, I kind of learned just throw it straight down the middle because the computer will miss half the time.
There's nothing better than just a good old reliable speedball.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, just throw it right down the middle and the computer will miss. Because if you try and throw a ball to try and like fake them out, trick them, they'll just see it coming every time. I don't think I ever got someone to make a swing for a ball.
Well, you were probably like pulling the pitch like way too far inward that it became obvious. Because when you want to try when the trick to like getting a ball is you get it just inside the batting square so that they think they could hit it,
Yeah.
but then they miss it. So that way it's a strike either way.
Well, the most I've been able to do with that is throw it like kind of close to their hands to just when they do swing for it and they hit it, they end up getting a foul ball going off the sides. But yeah, so needless to say, they're gonna hit your ball and they're gonna do a damn good job of it. The mechanic for when you're actually catching the ball is a little bit tough, maybe with more practice I would have gotten at it. But so you control all of your players on like one big flat grid. So imagine you got your little baseball diamond and then you draw on a piece of paper the positions of all your players and then you just slide that piece of paper along on the diamond and that's how you move your players. So what commonly happens is you see something and you go, okay, my pitcher or say your shortstop, he can get that. He's just barely in range. And then, well, turns out that they weren't in range. You go after the ball, and now the person who would have been in range otherwise is way off, running into nowhere. Other than that, you can also just play hands off, and they will kind of fine tune themselves. The problem is that this is much slower. So you kind of battle in your head with, is this going to go over a guy enough? Is it not? Do I move them? And then as soon as you decide to move someone, you over move them. I just found it to be very difficult to have any reasonable control. Once again, maybe I just suck at this game. I mean, no, I can't get around the idea that I probably just suck, or if I had more practice, if I had a want to practice and get good, maybe I could have eventually won. But it was a lot of effort to put in to get pretty minimal result, and I was a little disappointed actually, more than anything, that there wasn't like a little career mode.
There is.
Not that I saw. Or do I just lose immediately? And
did you not see there's world class? Yeah, that's it. That's the playoffs. That's where you play off against each team.
Well, you obviously don't play off against each team if you lose, because I never went beyond one team. So I guess that would have been an option to play the gambit of every team, but well, I guess you get booted out after losing the first one. So I never knew.
Since you said you didn't read the manual, I actually decided to read it myself.
Oh, you read it for me? You're gonna
I'm already better at the game than you are. But yeah, pennant mode is you play against every team that's available, and then once at the end you actually fight against like the super rivals.
Ah.
Yeah. You should have done also just watch mode where you just watch a game. just watch a game of virtual baseball play out.
Well, I knew that was a thing. I saw that, but I was like, I'll do that some other time. Something I did mean to do that I didn't was I wanted to watch maybe someone else play it. I don't know if there even is like a Let's Play or whatever. I don't want to watch a Let's Play. I don't want to listen to some fat grognard complaining about some video game that no one cares about. I'll leave that on the table. But yeah. And at the end of the game, when you lose, inevitably, because you will lose, if you win, then you cheated. You use the game genies. There's the little cutie pie, and she'll do the announcing. And then you play again because you feel that you need to put more hours in this game. That's about it that I have to say, though, for World Class Baseball. It's really short. As far as if you wanted to play it, I reckon there's probably better baseball games out there. If you really want to play this one, it's kind of cute.
Yeah, and the one I always bring up is the Baseball All Stars 2 by on the Neo Geo or arcade, because that one's great because it's basically the same game only with their SNK quality sprites, and it moves twice as fast as this game.
Yeah. So I can't say that I am too knowledgeable on. I am more knowledgeable on pinball games than I am on baseball games. Go. You want a good baseball game? Go get a John Madden game. He makes some good baseball games. That's my opinion on baseball games.
Speaking of John Madden, you need at some point, if not like right after I end this sentence, but you need to have the noise from like the John Madden when John Madden himself busts through the screen and it plays like this garble.
All right.
I'll find it for you.
please do. Jesus. So yeah, I just don't have much to say about World Class Baseball. You got more to say about your game, or do you got any cool questions about World Class Baseball? I doubt it.
Here, did you know that the directional pad was for specific places?
Oh, like to throw the ball?
Yeah.
Yes, I found that out. Yeah, that was actually pretty frustrating. When I thought, because your initial response is you push in the direction you want to throw it. Yeah. No. As soon as they catch the ball, you want to push up to throw to second, down to throw to home, and then left, right for third and first. Yeah, I figured that out, but I don't know how to steal bases or how to make people not run. Sometimes people would be weird about that and like go for second base when they want to.
If you ever need to play, here's another thing, because when you're doing defense, you're supposed to press the run button and a directional, and that will change the type of defense you're currently set to. Like run plus up makes it a deep defense, or a forward defense is down. Shift from third base, or shift from third base, or shift from first base, left and right.
You say that, but I also feel like I would immediately just put it in a bad position, and I would just be frustrated that I changed it at all, and I would feel that none of them work good. And I would be blaming it on the defense and not my own skills.
I've only played like a little bit of this game myself, like a while back. I didn't even finish a full game. I just tested it out just to see what it looked like. And the one thing I was probably disappointed with is beyond the actual team names themselves, this game kind of like lacked a lot of personality.
Yeah, it looks like when you see the team names, because you see the cute people for each of the teams. And you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be like, we're going to have our favorite manga-themed baseball game.
Our various hot-blooded rivals that will become friends in the end.
I know there's like a handful of mangoes that are about baseball. I don't know what they're called, though.
There's like probably millions of them.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's once you actually get to playing the game, it's pretty standard, which was a little bit disappointing.
That's what I kind of found odd, because I feel like us, we owned like the MLB game on the Genesis.
Yeah.
And even that one, like an official MLB like licensed game, that one, like when you got a home run, and you're in the opposing like team's field, you would like hear the crowd boo while your guy like does like cartwheels around the bases.
You could like toss your hat up in the air and do cartwheels and shit. It was pretty good.
And you could just make the crowd just boo at you. But yeah, so is that all you got to say about World Class Baseball?
That's about it. I'll say, okay, step back, because a lot of negativity brewing here, and it wasn't a bad game. It's a game that I don't have a lot of interest in, and it's pretty shallow. Even if I was interested in a baseball simulator, not a lot to say. It didn't have like a huge lineup of people. They weren't obviously distinguishable. If there was like some fun animations or something like that, or it was very basic. So. And that isn't exactly the highest praise. I wouldn't have like no real reason to tell someone to seek this game out. Seek out another baseball game. There's plenty that are better than this. I know for a fact. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually might try and play this game myself, just thinking about it, because I've never ever like really played a sports game good enough to actually like win a game in any of them. So it would be an interesting thing to try with this one. Especially since it's not as fast paced as much as I love playing All-Star Baseball 2, I can't actually play it.
It's too hardcore for you.
It's too hard. It's too fast. You'll accidentally like time yourself out if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I might try to play this one like on my own time if I don't, stop buying Humble Bundle packs for $1.
Well, you don't play those already, so
Yeah, but I just keep buying them and I just keep building up my backlog. I just bought a Humble Bundle for Telltale games. I don't give a shit about Telltale games.
why did you buy a thing for a Telltale game?
I wanted the poker game. That's all I wanted, and it's for $1. I wanted the poker game so I could talk to Strong Bad.
Fucking Christ!
I want the poker game, and I want their Sam and Max game. I don't care about the Walking Dead game because it's not a real game; it's a movie.
Well, they don't do real games anymore. They just make movies.
They've mostly made movies, even back then. Yeah. It's like oddly enough, like Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. I think is their most like traditional like point and click game.
Mm-hmm. Sam and Max is another. Is the poker a choose your own adventure?
With Sam and Max is like a close second in like pure point and click. Now the Poker Knights, their most realist games because it's just poker.
Truly, their magnum opus.
Yeah. I've always liked when I've seen like gameplay footage of them just because it's just a basic poker game, but you get some amusing commentary. But yeah, so maybe I'll play this, but that's not for now.
You say maybe, which that I hear that, and you'll say most definitely not. I'll play Arizonk instead.
Well, yeah, of course I'll play Arizonk. I'll play Arizonk anytime. In fact, I'm probably going to try and play another game of it right after this podcast.
No, you have to play the new game that we roll up.
Yeah,
that's the rules.
Yeah, I know.
you keep buying Humble Bundle packs. You're not allowed to play them. You have to play for the Gauntlet. Damn it! I don't play video games. I only play for the Gauntlet anymore because I have to do homework and I have to study.
So let's actually talk about my game that I rolled up then.
No.
The game I played for the Gauntlet is Riot Zone, aka Riot City for when the actual title for it in its Japanese arcade form, or Crest of the Wolf for the PC Engine version of this game in Japan. It has 3 titles and 3 versions.
I like the last one. It sounds cool.
Yeah, but it's cool until you realize that like 90% of beat 'em up games in Japan have something to do with wolves. I mean,
they're cool, dude.
I'm pretty sure Terry Bogart's name is like Wolf Claw or something like that. I forget what it is, but it's another wolf theme when it comes to beat 'em up games. Like wolves are everywhere. It's not a big deal for them.
Well, the Japanese just know that wolves are cool.
Yeah, so, and what this game is, it's a beat 'em up in the vein of like Final Fight or Streets of Rage. Though I'll say with this one, like lots of games are basically just copies of Final Fight at the end of the day. This one is like it's almost flagrant, like in the way it kind of it's borderline like plagiarized. The way it sort of presents itself is like it's about two buddies who are gonna like stop a criminal, and one of which had their girlfriend kidnapped by the big baddie, and like the levels, like when you go from level to level, it's like the exact same kind of like sort of if you've ever seen Final Fight where you go from stage to stage, and it's like stylized city map. Yeah. It's exactly the same thing. Like you
go from downtown to Subway, and
it's identical to that. So this is basically just a flagrant ripoff of Final Fight. But Final Fight's not a bad game, and this one's not really bad either. I mean, it's so cliche to the point that it's almost like meaningless. But it still works. But so basic premise is you and your buddy cop. Wolf and Toby are your names, and Wolf is the player 1 blonde guy, and player 2 is like this big beefy guy with like a mohawk and like tattoos on his scalp of like red and blue stars, which is funny enough is that's changed from the arcade version where instead of that it was a black guy named Bobby.
Wait, whoa, but why'd they drop Bobby?
I don't know.
What was wrong with Bobby?
He looks like the guy from Captain Planet. He's got the same like like cropped hair. Only it's the black kid from Captain Planet. Only his like chest width is like that of like 3 people.
Wait, does he have like still like a tiny head then, but on a
Oh yeah,
giant body?
yeah. He's got a small head.
Now, tell me about his hands. How big were his hands?
Big enough to protect you with.
From street thugs, from ethnic thugs.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are your 2 ones. They actually do play differently, with player 1 being sort of the more standard one, Toby being slower and heavy hitter. And I played through with Toby just because it seemed it was the better option. And probably the one thing that surprises me the most about this game, and sort of the way it's different from other beat 'em up games in general, isn't like any sort of like innovative ways of changing like mechanics or anything. If anything, it's dumbed down. It has the same thing that Final Fight does, where it's you have your basic punch and then your jump and kick kind of thing, and then you could also like do sort of like your quarter circles, and then that allows you to like throw people. Mm-hmm. So as that same standard kind of simplified fighting game mechanics. But the difference between it and Final Fight is Final Fight also had like pickup weapons that you could use and throw. This doesn't have any weapons at all.
That is super basic. Like that's a staple of pretty much every fighting game that isn't like a Ninja Turtles fighting game.
So it has the same things of a simplified fighting game mechanic where you have your punches and your dive kick and then your throw. Then it also has the sort of crowd control get off me thing where you do a spin kick.
Yeah, is it your usual drain health?
Yeah, and it hurts your damage, and then but you get all the enemies away from you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's really different from this one is that it's actually like really easy. Like to play like the Simpsons beat 'em up game, it like costs you $5 alone just to beat Mr. Burns up alone.
Yeah.
I mean, in this one, I played the game on its normal difficulty that it starts off with as the default. It only took me 2 credits to beat. So, basically starting the game and then putting 1 more quarter in after a game over. So, and when I put it in, it was the penultimate levels when I finally got a game over.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine like any beat 'em up game, like if you were to play one in an arcade, where you only had to pay 50 cents on basically your first try?
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is I'm curious is it simplified for the console as opposed to the arcade? Is arcade significantly more difficult? And is it possibly even more intuitive? I mean, we're not talking about the Neo Geo here, where they are direct ports from the arcade. This is the Turbografx. It's a downport of an arcade.
It's definitely a downport. I haven't seen any I haven't actually played the arcade version, but I've seen screen grabs of it, and it is definitely at least partially downgraded, at least in visual fidelity. Mm-hmm. Like not a whole bunch. It's not a very impressive game visually. It's pretty standard and a little bland.
It's not that big sexy Neo Geo with all the rolling colors and shit.
No, it's pretty standard, but it does what it needs to do. And what it is for this one, the sort of basic plot is not only has the big bad stolen your girlfriend and you have to go stop him, but the chief of police, he won't let you because I don't know, because he's he doesn't say he doesn't give a good reason, but he just says don't you know, Hawk? I pulled all the troops out of the Dragon Zone, and you have to stay away.
The Dragon Zone, though.
Yeah. That's where that's the premise is. Hawk is we have to stop the bad guy. We finally got him cornered in the Dragon Zone.
That's my favorite part of downtown LA, the Dragon Zone.
Yeah. So he won't let him on the case because I'm assuming the thing is that he's corrupt or something. So he won't. Or he's being paid off. So Hawk puts down his handcuffs and gun, and he's then I'm gonna take him on my own.
I thought the chief of police was just a big pussy. He's I'm not letting you deal with this.
It might be that too. I don't even know. But so he does that, and then Toby's all "You're not going it alone." And then they literally mimic the scene in Rocky where it's him and Apollo, and he goes, Oh no, not Rocky. It's with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was it? Or I can't even remember now.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and twins.
No,
I have no idea what film you're trying to talk about now.
When they clasp hands and they say, "You son of a bitch."
Dolph Lundgren and no, that's Oh fuck, cause you can't remember. No, I can't remember it. That's fucking shit. Lethal Weapon.
Oh yes, Lethal Weapon. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
so they basically mimic that, and then it's onward to go stop the bad guys.
We're gonna look like huge fucks when I was wrong about Lethal Weapon as well.
Yeah, I will be silently searching it up while I'm explaining this.
Well, what I'll do is I'll just edit in all the audio to replace with the correct movie. So when we say Lethal Weapon, it will actually be what we need to.
Yeah, there we go. I'll cover my hands and say insert movie here. We can do that. We'll fix it in post.
The Atlanta Falcons. Simpsons reference. Get it, boys.
So what's funny about this game when you start off is it actually starts off like surprisingly moody when you're playing the game. Like it starts like in the middle of like a rainy alleyway.
Yeah.
And that's like not the kind of mood I expect from, especially the way it's set up. Is like I expect like it to start off with a sunny alleyway.
Usually it's
and
like hot summer day in the alley.
Then you see like the girlfriend get punched like in Double Dragon and then carried away, and it's like it's time to go. You know. So it's funny about that is I thought that was odd when I was playing it, and then when I looked it up, it turns out they actually flipped the first and second level from the arcade version.
Fucking quality, you guys love it.
Which kind of made more sense in retrospect because the first boss in the PC Engine one is where you fight like two guys head to head, where it's one guy who does like punches, and then he's got like his girlfriend with like fingernail claws leaping at you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that boss was way harder than the first boss or the second boss of this version, rather. So,
who made this game? Do you know?
Who made this game?
It's not SK because you'd be talking about the Duck Kings in it, and it's not Capcom because Capcom did Streets of Rage.
It's by Sega actually.
Like it's just a straight Sega game.
Yeah, and I know they published it, and I believe the developers are called West One, but I don't know much about what else West One has done other than
I don't know that.
I believe they might be just like a developer team in Sega.
Mm-hmm. The team that wasn't good enough to work on Golden Axe, I guess.
Maybe. Though isn't the secret that Golden Axe actually sucks?
Golden Axe isn't bad.
I don't know. I've never been impressed when I play it, except for chasing down like noobs.
Like Golden Axe, I think it's in Golden Axe 2, where you ride the hawk like on the way to the tower, and like all the goblins come out and they fight you on the back of the hawk. That was cool. I like Golden Axe. I think it's good. Better on the arcade. I've played arcade Golden Axe. It's smoother. The Genesis does not do it justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and as far as levels progression go, it's mostly standard. You walk down an alleyway or a construction zone, and then there's the elevator section where it's sort of cordoned off, but you're fighting enemies who leap on.
Yeah.
So it's basically like that, and then by the time you reach the sort of penultimate level, it's another thing you'd expect, where it's like you're in the office building that gets more and more elaborately oriental as you go deeper in. Yeah, and then for the bosses, it's like I said, there's the punching guy along with his wife or girlfriend or whatever with like super sharp claws. After that, you fight like just some woman with a whip named Shauna, who looks like poison. So it's like
na.
And then after that, you fight Lance, and he's a guy with knives like growing out of his back, and he does Blanca balls at you. He was the hardest of all the bosses, I would say.
This guy sounds pretty cool though.
Because the thing is that and here's like the main problem with all these bosses. Like almost every single boss, I was able to like stun lock at least for more than half of their health.
Wow, that's pretty poorly programmed.
Let me tell
you. Hold them down.
Like I'll tell you right now, the final boss, the final boss is like this samurai guy who does like these like big leaping stabs, and the leaping stab does like almost like just as or more than half your health. So he got one attack in on me, and I was like, holy shit, this guy is like serious business. But I stun locked him and then almost never got hit once. Yeah, and Lance was the only one who like had like a way to like break out sort of like of combos or any sort of stun locking. Because the thing is, like in the middle of a punching combo, he would do sort of like a mini Blanca ball, which would hit you. and no other boss really had that kind of skill to be able to break out a combo or a stun lock sort of situation.
Yeah, well, in most games like this, when you do get into like a stun lock, that like there is a sort of like little smaller health meter that bosses will have that causes them to fall over or something, and then like normal mooks will just get back up, but a boss will like do like a spin kick as they get back up. So you can't just stay on top of them and punch them forever. You got to beat them up, and then you got to back off, and then try to get the loop going again.
Yeah, and it was only really Lance who sort of like had that kind of like obvious sort of difficulty or strategy. After you defeat Lance, you'll be fighting your way through, and then you'll eventually find yourself like in the middle of like a wrestling ring where you'll fight Fuji, which is like a sumo wrestler, like wearing like a bunch of like pseudo samurai garb. And then finally, the final boss is first you fight Quinn, who's like the handsome evil guy, who's the main villain. But then lightning strikes his suit of armor, and it comes to life, and you fight that. Which is the thing I always look for when it comes to a beat 'em up game. Is I love it when a beat 'em up game starts off with like you're just Bimmy, Jimmy, or whatever generic guys fighting thugs, and then it ends with a supernatural boss or a sci-fi boss. That's always the best twist. Is like when you're like you're the whole point of the game was you have to fight like the evil drug lord or whatever who stole your girlfriend.
Yeah.
But then as you work your way in your base, you like are suddenly finding like test tubes full of monsters inside. Or whatever.
It turns out that the mob boss was the king of the underworld kingdom.
Like test tubes where you find the final boss, and he's like some savvy businessman, but he's actually standing in the middle of like a pentagram, and he's like summoning the devil. That's always the highlight for me when it comes to playing a beat 'em up game like these. So I was glad that there was in fact a supernatural boss at the end. Yeah, as far as like the actual regular mobs go, most of them are standard. Like you'll just fight punks at the beginning, then you'll fight, and then after that you sort of fight like old men who like go like wah, and then they do like little punches that do a lot of damage. Then you also have like your ninjas who do your jumping and your dive attacks. Then my favorite ones are there's these rushdown characters who are sort of like the best way to describe, they do sort of like just a bull rush. That's their main attack. But the best thing about their like design is they're sort of like they look like an Oriental version of David Byrne when he's wearing the suit.
That sounds amazing.
Like they have like huge broad shoulders and like sort of like a Chinese garb and like tiny heads, and they're just sort of like bull rushing like from opposite ends of the screen.
Did this have any of the old cliche of like the first and second level bosses become regular enemies towards the end, like a Bobo?
Actually, no, they did not have any of that sort of happen.
Oh, you didn't get that feeling of now I'm a real fucking badass, that the boss is now a regular enemy.
No, they never did that. And then there's what I hate was so the Floyd is like one of the variant names for the David Byrne guys.
Yeah.
What sucks is that he's like the sort of last interesting sort of design, like the fight, like when they needed to come up with a new boss or not boss, just regular enemy. Mm-hmm. They came up with like his names were like Cruiser, Crusher, and Crusher Junior. and these guys were like people like wearing like leotards, and they have like a big smile that makes them look like Jaws from James Bond, but. They like every subsequent new enemy has some kind of like new attack pattern that you see. Like there's first you have your basic thugs and thug S's, I guess, for the female thugs who just do like your regular punches and are just fodder. Then there's like the old mans who do like small little punches, but they do a lot of damage, so you have to kill them quickly. There's the guys who come in doing slide kicks. There's Floyd who does the rush downs, and then the ninjas who do like the dive stabs. But Cruiser, Crusher, and Crusher Junior, they do like these like just little kicks, and what it is like you see the little kick and it's like that's like absolutely nothing, but then they hit you, and instead of like coming up with new strategies of like dodging, it's just they just made a guy who does little kicks that do like tons of damage. Instead
of programming him more interesting, they just made him do more damage.
They just made a guy who does lots of damage, like absurd amounts of damage, and he doesn't even like combo. So it's like, it's like not like you're like, oh, I feel stupid for like getting caught in that like that combo or whatever. It's like no, he just does like a kick, and you're like, oh, there goes all my health. Okay.
Yeah, you just accidentally ate shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the worst part with them is that it's only like they only graze you, and then that's how they kill you pretty much. But yeah, so that's more or less the basics of the game. Like I said, it was really easy, like way too easy. Like I did 2 sessions of this game. One where I got to this like stage 3, and I didn't, and I game over, like chose not to continue just because I had other stuff to do. And then I played the second time where I beat the game in 1 hour with only 2 continues to use, and it's so 5 stages long, which isn't like too radical for like a beat 'em up game in terms of how many levels.
Yeah, I don't know. You have more experience with Turbografx than I do. Is actually it feels a little bit like a trend that a lot of Turbografx games are games that you can sit down and beat in an afternoon.
Um, I wouldn't know. I don't necessarily know, but now that you actually say that, there are quite a few games
Like
that
it's because
I've
like
played that are like
all
that.
the bonks you could sit down and beat in an afternoon.
Yeah,
Bonk,
I
bonk
could.
two, and zonk. I'm sure if you just had the balls to sit down and really do it, you probably would be able to.
Yeah, I would. That also kind of has to do. I mean, since a lot of them are shmups, are what Turbografx is
Yeah.
most known for. A shmup, once you know how to play it really well, really is a pretty short thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, there have been other ones like I can't remember the other game I played. It was a ninja game, I think called like Ninja Scroll or something generic like that. And that game was also like really easy. It was like a Ninja Guidance type game, but it was actually a Ninja Spirit now I remember. And that game was like way too easy.
Yeah. I mean, even talking within the Gauntlet, I had Night Creatures, which if I had the time, I would have been able to beat in a day. Like I beat it pretty quickly, not long afterwards. Silent Debuggers, I think you would have been able to once again if you just really sat down to play it, you would have beaten it one day. This same thing, and World Class Baseball doesn't exactly contend, but I'm sure if you read the manual and knew what you're doing, probably could at least win a game, maybe not the pennant.
I would say the actual thing, like why we're seeing this trend, is less to do with Turbografx itself, but more to do with it, A, being this that's kind of more closer to sort of retro game format,
Yeah.
and two, the Turbografx didn't have like too many like JRPGs, at least sort of ones that were released stateside. Like there's Ys, but that even Ys you can beat in a day pretty easily.
Well, you say that, but like on the NES, Final Fantasy, the Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest are known for being exceptionally long. Might and Magic, these are all games that were out a good while before that are RPGs. And I would say a lot of things like Zelda, which isn't an RPG, though like I could easily beat it in an afternoon, having played it several times. I don't. I mean, maybe it's just my age. I think though. Uh, have you really sat down and ever played like Zelda?
I've beaten the first Zelda, yeah, all the way
Okay.
through, and I think it took me a few hours.
Okay.
But that's the thing is, I haven't talked about I have played because Turbografx had his own Zelda clone called Newtopia. I've yet to beat it, but that one is regular length, like probably Zelda length. It has a save feature, so I think it's just the games we've been coming up across have just sort of seemed short,
Yeah.
like this and Silent Debuggers, where it was actually timed, where you can't play it longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Really.
It's like they're on tapes. You can only let it go for so long. They all have to have timers.
So yeah, this game. So I mean, just to sum it up, pretty standard beat 'em up. It's not bad. You can since it's easy, you could easily play it if you want it. But at the end of the day, you probably just rather would prefer to play Final Fight or Streets of Rage.
Yeah, I hate when we get that result of it wasn't a bad game. Go play a better one. I mean, but truly, that's the nature of retro gaming. You have such a plethora of things to choose from that if you get something average, almost guaranteed, unless if you have just played Streets of Rage and Final Fight to death, you don't have a reason to play this. You're probably not dying to play another side-scrolling beat 'em up when there's better ones. Go play go play Battletoads even or Double Dragon or other good just old beat 'em ups. Hate weak praise. It feels so pointless.
I mean, not a bad game. I would say play it if you're interested in the PC Engine and Turbografx. I would definitely put it on sort of a definite playlist.
Yeah.
Of the games to choose from.
Well, is this all we got then?
I think so. All right, do a roll for it then.
Yeah, let's do a roll.
All right. Do you know what you want to do?
You want to do because I feel like so far I kind of feel like the most gold has been in Genesis and NES games. Do you Do you feel sort of the same way?
Are you saying you want to do Genesis?
I was saying let's try another Genesis. I don't think that we got the best rolls last time, but I think that there's a lot of Genesis games that are kind of forgotten.
All right, I can do Genesis.
Okay. You want to do the countdown?
All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
Ah! Strider Returns, Journey from Darkness. That's a semi-famous.
No, I think we're actually going to have another theme, accidental theme, because you're going to play Strider, and I'm going to play Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master.
Are those actually different games, or are they the same game?
No, they're definitely different games. But you know, they're both like fast action ninja running like action games like that. So
they're both Ninja Gaiden.
So there we go. We got another accidental theme.
All right. I think that's all we have to say. This actually went on surprisingly long.
Yeah, it was pretty good, decent. I mean,
well,
I think even though you didn't get to talk about much, I think you could have explained like the rules of baseball.
I could have explained the rules of baseball. Let's sit down.
What if someone doesn't know the rules of baseball? They certainly aren't going to know the rules of the video game baseball.
Okay, hey guys, if you don't know the rules to baseball, I don't suggest this game. I suggest maybe picking up a book and having a little read for yourself. Just go on and do that. Anyway.
Or get your old mitt in baseball and go learn to play.
Go.
Just buy yourself, get like a mitt and a mitt glove and a baseball, and you'll learn how to play.
Call up your pops. He's been dying to teach. He's. There's some asshole outside. Oh man, this place that
you're just jealous of his hog.
His custom hog that he bought in a magazine. He's got all of his custom custom chrome parts that he bought in a catalog. He took off the muffler himself.
I think the moral we can take from today's podcast is why play video game baseball when you can play real baseball with your dad?
Go call up your dad.
Just as soon as he comes back from the convenience store with his smokes, he'll be ready to play baseball.
He is so tired of only hearing about you posting your Naruto gifs onto your Tumblr page. He just wanted to play a game of baseball. He doesn't want to know that you're a transsexual. He grew up with you being his little boy who never wanted to play baseball. He just wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z all day and draw his own OC Saiyans. He just wants to play baseball with you. Go out, play some baseball with your pops. Go play some baseball.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye. Get out of my house.